So what this will help you do is sort of identify which section you're weak at. And then what I did was, I think IMS has a topic-wise courses, like topic-wise questions and everything. So whatever topics I was weak at, I specifically targeted that and gave marks again. So in my case, that helps. So see if that helps you.
Okay, thank you.
Also, I have identified. Also, if you go to 2IIM website, so they have dissected all the past year questions in topic wise. So if you are just looking for DI may, let's say, games and tournaments, so you will get all past years just games and tournament over there. So when you solve in a flow, it's easier to solve. So you will get the same logic of all the sets in a single line. So it will be easier to solve in that way.
Okay, I'll check out.
Yeah. Logic of. I guess anyone else, please. I'm just repeating again what we are focusing on. This call is mainly focused on last 50 days on preparation. Nothing about what is going to inside college, after outside college. वो सब अभी बाद में देखेंगे. After converting or getting a call, we will see into our profiles and all. But right now we are just focusing on getting maximum score as we can. Also, insider, I got to know this year 3.88 lakh aspirants are there. So that 99 percentile, which is of 2022, will be equivalent to 99.5 of this year. For example, if there were 2.5 lakh aspirants, so 99 percentile is roughly equal to 2500. But to get the same rank this year, you will have to get 99.5 percentile. So focus on scores now. Percentile, I guess, इतना important नहीं रहने वाला future में. Main will be score, your composite score and your call probability over there. So yeah, stage is open. करो यार, इतना फॉर्मल क्यों हो रहे हो? ऐसा लग रहा है ना, मैंने वो क्या बोलते हैं, वो कॉलेज में होता है ना, जूम मीटिंग टाइप का, टीचर इंकरेज करता है बच्चों बोलो बच्चे बोलो, वैसा फील आ रहा है मेरे को. किसी के पास कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है क्या?
One more question. Also, does anybody have any sort of idea about the MATS form? Is it like if I skip that form and I'm just filling the snap, so is it okay?
सी यार, इट्स अ पर्सनल चॉइस टू बी ऑनेस्ट. कुछ लोग एनएमएमएस इसलिए सिलेक्ट नहीं करते क्योंकि द कॉस्ट गेट हायर. सो 27 lakh is your fees. Then living in Mumbai itself is very costly. So
Yeah, that's
ROI
the
terms, it's
yeah.
not a great college, but it's a good college in general if you are looking.
Also, just to add on to that, I'll share a personal example. So I had this friend who scored, I think, 99.3 in CAT, but he was not eligible for any IIM because he couldn't clear the sectional cutoff.
Oh,
So this guy, right? So for DILR, his sectional cutoff couldn't be met. He was so confident about CAT, he didn't give any other exams, and
oh,
because of that, he had to waste an entire year.
here.
It's a very unfortunate event. But what I would suggest is, if you have the bandwidth and time, just give as many exams as possible. Like keep as many doors open
And if you are
if you have the bandwidth.
feeling animate, this is the last few hours for you क्योंकि 12 बजे ऑफ हो रहा है वो.
Oh,
So
okay.
हाँ, so keep that in mind. Today is 10 October, right? By 12 you can fill.
The last date was 10th of October, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, today is 10 of October, na?
Abhishek, it's fifth, yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
I see, guys, it's happen when you are doing job and preparation. थोड़ा दिमाग खराब हो जाता है. नहीं, I saw that ना नीचे date and time, so it was month then date then time. मैंने कहा 10 आ भी गई. Just a pure confusion over there. So this is my personal question. So there have been many questions मेरे पे आए हैं कि should we feel institutes like Goa Institute of Management, which are IMS ने A level category दिया है, and they are around. I will set a context that these students who are asking, their उनका भी average package is from 0 to 6 lakhs. And this is my
Okay.
terminology कि आपका 3x होता है and you can get 3x in your MBA, then it's a good MBA. So should these students fill the forms of GIM, Goa Institute of Management, इसका 17-18 लाख average package है. XI MB 2021 average package. Then Great Lakes is there, 17, 18 average package. So ऐसे colleges को should they target or not? That was the question which they asked.
Yeah, see, again, when it comes to see old IIMs, I don't think anyone will have any qualms taking any of the six colleges, right?
Yeah.
But then when it comes to anything apart from BBIM's apart from the IIM ecosystem, so a lot of things come into play. Like, घर से कितना पास है, कौन सा city में है? Because more or less, as you mentioned, the bracket for income is more or less the same, and at the same time it's highly subjective. In colleges में ऐसा होता है when they calculate the average, right? So let's just say someone got a 3-year contract with American Express in US. So their salary would be, the CTC would be 1.8 or 2 crores.
But
They'll
that
take
is for
that
3 year, I
number.
guess.
Yeah, they take that number as it is while calculating average because it increases the entire average. Right. So it's very important ki if you're targeting colleges like that, then sort of look into it, sort of talk to people, because you mentioned GIM, right? So I have a
Yeah.
friend who was in GIM, but he was a civil engineer, and I think the way he structured his MBA, he's very happy with the outcome. Okay. So it also depends like on personally where you want to end up in. Because for ऐसा होता है, for example, XLRI, I mean, XLRI is a brilliant institute, but they are known, they are famous among certain companies because the company's board is
HR.
from XLRI. No, the board members are
from
alums
XLRI.
of XLRI, right? So if your dream is to make it to such a company, then go for XLRI. So these small nuances can sort of, affect your decision when it's not the old IIMs. Agar top 6 mein, I'm sure nobody would leave them.
Also, is it true that ISB का जो degree मिलता है, it is not recognized in India education system?
Yeah, see, you're doing an MBA, which more or less would probably be the last degree that most people do, unless you go for a PhD. Even if it's not recognized by the education board, which I'm not sure if it's true or not. As long as it's recognized
ISB
by
11-year program is not recognized by ACT. I don't know about the new 20-month wala
See,
program.
that's what I'm saying. Even if it's not recognized, it's recognized by companies. McKinsey, MBB, all companies hire from there. So how does it matter if it's recognized or not?
Only if you
Right.
have to do PhD, then don't go to ISB. That's the
Exactly.
point.
So if you're getting into academia, then you should think about all this. But if your goal is not to end up in academia, then
ISB.
how does it matter? As long as companies value it.
But
Which is why
they
master unions work, right? Because
are,
master unions does not have an academic inclination at all.
they just give a
But-
certificate.
Yes.
So these new program which they are launching for 20 months is just 0 to 2 year वाले work ex वाले students के लिए. So how do you
Right.
feel ki what will be the environment in the class like? Will there be greater?
Yes, I'll tell you something. Even our professors at IMA have told us that when they teach us versus when they teach our PGPX batch the same thing, the class discussions are drastically different. Because people who don't come from work experience would have different understanding of the concepts compared to people who do. Right. So the normal ISP program, where usually the average work ex is 3 to 5 years, discussions are driven more about advanced topics which a fresher or a 0 to 2 year experienced person might not understand. But the college does have the capability to deliver. So which is why I think they're launching this.
So let's say a hypothetical situation, there is a student who is aiming for IIM Ahmedabad. Okay. At the second time, he is unable to convert Ahmedabad and got ISB ka 20-year wala program. 20-month wala program. So what should he do? Should he drop a year or should he just go for the ISB program?
Okay, again, so I have like a little conflicted opinion on this because one, given it's ISB, I'm sure the program will be great and even placement wise, it will be amazing. But at the same time, it's not a proven concept. ISB has not done it before. So unless you have some previous batch ka data to back it up with, you never know how it's going to work out. You see like all these IITs coming up with degrees like MTech in AI, all new concepts, but nobody knows that if they get into it, they might end up with a job or not.
Right.
Like for example, IIT Bombay has this degree in AI. Does not have placements, even if it's IIT Bombay.
So it's the outcome which will. So we don't have any data. So it's like a
Yes.
andhe teer chala
But
do.
what you can do is you can trust on the ISP brand that you will get placed for sure.
Right. Okay, guys. I tried to push from my end. कोई और भी पूछ लो यार.
Any tip on like like improving the verbal comprehension.
Right. So again, like now that you ask a specific question, VRC में कहा, like is it the grammar part or is it like the RC part of it?
RC part.
Okay, so RC again, like see, you'll hear if you see 10 videos on YouTube, you'll get 10 different tips. So I'll tell you what worked for me. So a lot of people suggest that read the question first and then go uh, to that, find it in the paragraph and then do it. But what I would rather suggest is if you have the time and if your reading speed is good enough, first go through the paragraph because अगर paragraph समझ में आ गया, so that means you will be able to solve at least 4 out of those 5 questions. Right? It's all about comprehension. So अगर
Yeah.
if you can just understand the paragraph, because some paragraphs in CAT exams are purposefully made so difficult that even if you read it 10 times, नहीं समझेगा. Like if you take 2021 ka CAT paper, the 230 attempt, no matter there's this one paragraph on psychology which even if you put it on GPT, you will not understand it. So it's just meant to confuse people. So अगर paragraph छोटा है, समझ में आ जा रहा है, go through it, you'll be able to solve more questions is what I understood. There are people who do, I'm not sure if control F is allowed. I've heard people do it. They read the questions, pick a keyword, find it, and then read दो line ऊपर की, दो line नीचे की. So if that is something which works for you, that also works. But pata hai, every RC, there's always this one question, what the title of this RC is supposed to be. And for that, you'll have to read the entire paragraph. So if you read it once, at least वो question तो solve हो ही गया तुम्हारा.
That strategy is like working, like for like read the whole passage first. But the problem is that okay, like my comprehending is not that good. So whenever I read the questions, I have to go back to the passage again and again,
Right. So
and
do
it
one
takes
thing.
time.
Just for like tomorrow, let's just say when you sit with RC, try reading and understanding the questions first and then read the paragraph. So let's just say if the question is, what is the author saying when he says XYZ? When you're reading the paragraph and that XYZ line comes, so obviously you'll start like, analyzing it more than what you focused on before it.
Mhm.
So I think that way it might help you improve your comprehension. See if it works. Otherwise, whatever strategy works for you. See, if you search on YouTube, you'll get like 100 of different strategies. Like before, like at the start of this call, Abhishek was saying that he's gonna read all the RCs and then choose a simple one and attack. So I think, I mean, like there are a number of strategies,
सबका अपना अपना होता है.
right? Dekho, now that you guys are 50 days, approximately 50, 55 days, so try out what strategy works for you. You can spend a couple of days experimenting if it's improving.
Okay.
Because like 15 days before the exam, if you change the strategy, that's not going to work. Because if it doesn't work, you'll start panicking, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Try it out if it works.
okay.
And yes, correct me if I am wrong. So I don't try to comprehend a complete passage.
Okay.
I just try to comprehend इस पैसेज में ये बोला, इस पैसेज में ये बोला, इस पैसेज में ये बोला, इस पैसेज में ये बोला.
Right. So see, if you take any actual CAT paper, so if you read the paragraph upar se, like without completely understanding the passage, you'll still get a fairly good idea of what the author wants to say in that passage, right?
Yeah.
And then once you know where specific questions are in which particular lines, then you can just focus on them. Like spend 1 minute per question. You'll be able to gauge more or less. See, a lot of times there'll be particular words which you don't know what the meaning is. Like if the question literally is what is the meaning of this word and you have not heard it before, even if
तो
you
नहीं
spend
होने
like
का.
10 minutes on it, nahi hone wala hai, right? So this is how you can eliminate. See, again, the goal is not to score 90% marks. The goal is to be in like clear the cutoff, which is like reasonable. If you can solve at least 2 questions from each RC, also you should more or kitna hota hai cutoff, which average.
So for 80 percentile, you need 17 marks. So that is roughly equal to your 6 question correct with 100% accuracy. But if you are
That also
aiming,
includes grammar, right?
so grammar is been excluded now. So
Okay.
the pattern right now is 4 RC with 4 questions each. Then there is 2 question of para jumble, 2 question of para filling the blanks with a sentence, and you have to put this sentence in 4 blank or a blank choose karna hai. Then there is odd one out. So there are 5 sentences. You have to choose the odd one out. Then there is para summary. So two questions of
Right.
each.
So essentially what I'm trying to say is even if RC say, even if out of the 4 RCs, you're only able to get like 4 questions right, you still have an opportunity to answer these other questions which are fairly like quicker to solve. Like
Right.
these one questions won't take 5 minutes. So that way you can just compensate both and then score.
Yeah, but I think the accuracy in that VA part is like difficult.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
that I agree.
But VA is also your Tita, so it's like free की मिठाई, तो उसमें तो रिस्क ले सकते हो. बट मैंने एक चीज नोटिस किया, व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू अर्लियर वाज टू गिव 3 to 4 मिनट आई यूज्ड टू गिव ऑन हार्ड VA क्वेश्चंस, बिकॉज थिंकिंग कि ये तो टीटा है, इसमें तो माइनस होगा नहीं, बट देन आई यूज्ड टू रियलाइज दैट आई एम लूजिंग ऑन टाइम.
Right.
Mhm.
सो वो भी थोड़ा दिमाग में रखना. So
Yeah,
right now
bit
I'm
of
giving 30 minutes to RC and 10 minutes to VA.
Mhm.
ये टफ VA यार, टफ, वो बहुत टफ हो जाता है, वो कितना भी कर लो नहीं हो पाता है.
I had a question, like I was not able to understand the topic of numbers in class. So I wanted to ask if it would be okay if I leave the whole topic and focus on the other topics.
so when you say numbers, could you please elaborate like what topics are covered and under it?
So
There are
remainder
remainder
theorem,
theorems, then the last digit.
Oh, okay.
HCF,
See,
LCM.
now this is a double-edged sword because quant, yes, you can avoid it because quant maybe like, 2, 3, or 4 questions it will be used. At the same time, what these institutes are known to do is when they make the DI paper, so they'll use one of these concepts. Usually it's probability because that's the toughest to grasp. But if let's just say one of the sets has numbers as a concept, backing it up, that means you lose the entire set, right? So it's a double-edged sword there. Instead, what I would suggest is uh, even if you want to like leave quants, because I understand quants may solving that part to that level could be tricky at this point. At least find DILR sets which has those topics and try to solve them, or try to read the solution. So in the paper, if there's a DI set on that, you can do something about it.
Or even in quants, you can just do the PYQ and their concepts, because there are high probability that number system with this factor question keeps on repeating from last 2 or 3 years. So there is a probability in that sense कि वो repeat हो गया तो अच्छा ही है ना. And there are just
That
12, 13 questions I guess in last 5 years. They are not much from number system.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
और लोग भी पूछ लो guys.
uh, this is like not a question regarding the exam, but it's a general type of question. Like,
okay.
is it better to have like work experience then maybe go for a MBA?
Like you mean like should you do an MBA if you are a fresher or should you do it after work ex? Is that your question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, it depends where you want to end up. Just trust me. If you want to end up in marketing, being a fresher is a huge advantage because there are companies, not just at IMA, but at all top institutes, which only prefer freshers, right? If you want to end in sales, if you want to end in finance, maybe being a fresher would help you. If you want to end in consulting or let's just say product management, then maybe having relevant work ex would help you. Okay, so I know in the entrance they have a 5% weightage or 10% weightage to work ex, but
Mhm.
take IMA for example. My batch has at least 30-35% freshers. That means like 100-150 people who have no work ex, and they're doing better than me, to be honest. I have like 3 years of work ex.
Okay.
So being a fresher is no issue at all. Are you a fresher by the way?
No, I'm like doing a job, but it's like only 4 months.
Okay, so see the thing is, at most companies, the cutoff for freshers are like less than 1 year is considered freshers only,
Mhm.
right? So that's okay. I mean, nothing to lose uh, other than those 5 marks which they have for work-ex, which I'm assuming it's fine as long as you score well in CAT.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing like that. See, the only caveat is people who work, right? There's certain things which you understand while you're working, right? So it becomes easier for you to understand. For example, if there's a topic of leadership skills, it's easier to comprehend if you have worked before. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean there's any disadvantage. But if you want to end up in a company like Microsoft, then yes, you'll need relevant work ex. But if you want to go to consulting, let's just say McKinsey, freshers also make it to McKinsey. Not an
Mm,
issue.
okay.
Now, what's the cutoff for the lateral placement जो होती है?
It depends, but usually it's 22 to 24 months.
Okay. So this is before joining the college, not the CAT one, right?
It depends, yeah, from institute to institute how they want to calculate it.
Because my plan is to continue my job up till May, then join college.
But at the same time, if you're talking about laterals, at least at IMA, laterals mein most of the companies are product firms.
Oh,
Okay. So highly inclined towards engineers, and then usually a few second tier consulting firms would come, some banking firms would come. So unless you're
benefit.
targeting them, laterals do not make sense because laterals के immediately बाद final placements होना ही है,
Hmm.
right? So laterals is mostly for tech folks, engineers, वैसे.
Got it. क्या लिखा है? Sir not be would not be disadvantage during SIP. You have the work X, right? Yes, so Pankaj is asking, having as a fresher, is it a disadvantage at SIP?
Not really. See, as I mentioned, if you want to end up, okay, let me give you a live example. If you want to end up in a company like Nestle, having a fresher is a huge advantage. Okay, if you want to end up in marketing, creative jobs, being a fresher is a huge advantage because 8 out of 10 people who get hired are freshers. If you want to end up in a company like Microsoft, then yes, work X is important. So I would suggest, see, anyways, people wouldn't know what companies they want to end up in, but interest area pata hota hai, background pata hota hai. For example, I can never get a Fin job because मेरा Fin background है ही नहीं. I'm an engineer. I worked at Oracle, then I came to IMA. So Fin is out for me, but I can end up in marketing, general management. Yes, general management के लिए WorkX चाहिए because those are leadership roles. Companies like Tata Administrative
Tata,
Service, Aditya Birla Group, Adani, they
Reliance.
prefer WorkX, but at the same time, they also have positions for which freshers are also, what do you say, taken from SIP.
So for me, let's say I want to go into marketing. Let's say I want to go in HUL or something, and I'm
Hmm.
already taking care of marketing in Amar Chitragatha. So will it be
Hmm.
advantage over there, or a fresher will be still preferred more than me?
No, so it depends. There's a friend of mine who worked in HUL before. So when he set for PNG, he had an advantage because he already knew the industry. I know it's a competitor, but he had an advantage.
So do you
At
get
the
a
same
better
time,
role, or it's the same role which a fresher gets?
oh, it's the same role.
Okay.
So okay, if you're talking about final placements now, right? Not SIP.
Final placement, yeah.
Yeah, so final placement is the thing is companies have two ways they can do it. One is they might give you a higher salary. If let's just say you have 2 years of WorkX, I have 5 years of WorkX. If you get into the same company, if the WorkX is not too different, they might offer the higher WorkX guy a higher salary or promise of a quicker promotion. So if you get promoted in 3 years, I'll get promoted in 1 year.
Okay.
Or if the WorkX is too big, like yours is 2 - 6, then in that case, they might offer me a better position. Mostly it's a slight change in CTC or like a earlier promotion.
So I was just looking this marketing data of placements of multiple colleges. I've seen some colleges have placement of 45 plus, 50 plus in marketing domain. So what are these roles? Because HUL and all I've seen 35, 36 के around रहते हैं.
Yeah, that's what, and they are the highest to be honest.
Then
I
what is
have
this
not heard
45,
of
46?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? See, if you see few colleges, I think Ahmedabad, Bangalore, they get their placement reports vetted by a third party independent agency.
Yeah.
That means कि इनकी जो report है, you can take it as truth. But recently also on MBA Social, they said that I think IIM Mumbai bloated some numbers. So it
On the
depends on how they
NRIs,
calculate
right?
it. Yes. So how they calculate CTC. So if you see 50, it might mean कि अगर if the CTC breakup is, let's just say shares of 10 lakh per year.
Hmm.
So they'll take 5 years के share. So that's 50 lakhs plus the CTC,
CTC.
right? So I
Got
mean,
it.
institutes play along.
And I guess right now only Ahmedabad and Udaipur are doing their audited reports and Master UT.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I
So
think
they,
somebody had a question. I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Should I only aim for IIMs even if it requires a drop year as a fresher, or I can aim for top 20, 15, 20 B schools? And if top B schools, what would be the difference of studying in other B schools from IIM?
Yeah.
So,
So To be very honest, I participated in the few case comps. Okay, so I'll be very honest. Other than the IIM tag, teaching remains same. Okay, if IMA has a case from Harvard University, let's just say any private university can also get access to that. So the teaching model is replicable. What you learn is replicable. IIM tag, yes, but at the same time, colleges like Accelerate are also commanding CTCs of like 25 to 30, 35, right? So it honestly depends on what you're going for. So if you are like looking only for the top IIMs, like you want that IIMA tag for your life, then IIM makes sense. But let's just say if you have to choose between taking a drop and going into Accelerate or Jamnalal Bajaj, then I would suggest go to Jamnalal Bajaj because the difference is not that big.
Right.
And for example, if you're lucky enough and you get FMS, then
Best.
ROI is very different because their fees is like one fifth of IIMs and the CTC is more or less same.
More than 1/5, I guess.
हाँ
30,
exactly.
1/10, 2 lakhs में हो जा
Yeah.
रहा है ना.
हाँ fair. And उनका CTC, I mean, it will be somewhere little lower than top IIMs.
And for marketing, FMS is like best buy. Because I guess they
Fair.
don't have any marks for work experience in the first short listings.
Mm-hmm.
They only call you on your cat.
Oh, okay, fair, fair.
So
I
I
think
was,
Swast.
this was the case study I was doing on Kolkata. So when I was calculating my composite score, I have 29 and there was a female, a same profile like me. She also has a 29. But as she was a female, she just needs 71 marks and I need 106 marks to get a call from IIM Kolkata last year data wise.
Okay,
So just ये बोल रहा हूँ कि these 5-10 marks which we see in the profile, they adds a lot. मेरे को
fair,
लगता
fair.
था कि these 5-10 composite में क्या ही फर्क पड़ेगा, but 29 and 34 is a very big difference when you come to composite score.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I think
Because
Swastik had a question.
Hmm.
Yes, Swastik, go ahead.
Yeah, so I had a question regarding my analysis. So in every mocks that I'm giving for the last 6 to 8 mocks, I can solve, I find more than 10 questions in quants attemptable. But when I try to attempt those, I end up attempting only 7 to 8 with a low accuracy. And in DILR, I can solve a maximum of 1 to 1.5 sets, but I can never finish the second set because of lack of time. And I'm having problem in analyzing the points that where I'm lacking or the reason because of which I'm taking so much time. The average time for me to solve a points question is about 5 to 6 minutes, so that takes up a lot of time. So how do I reduce that?
Okay, so see, what you can do at this stage is, see, obviously there are concepts which come naturally to you and concepts which require effort. So in my case, PNC always required efforts. So what I would do is, I made a conscious decision ki if I'm giving mock or the actual CAT exam, in cons, let's just say, I would spend first 2 minutes just glancing over the question. Ki, oh, okay, this question I can solve. Not actually reading the whole question, but okay, yeah, this I can easily solve, or this I've seen before. And then cherry pick the questions that you can solve. What it would do is, even if these questions are costing you a little bit of time, you'll be quicker than the normal average question. And at the same time, it's short marks. So you won't end up in a case where you spend 20 minutes and you have accumulated like 2 or 3 marks in the entire section. So this is something now that see you have time to
Okay.
experiment, which is why I'm
So
suggesting this. Experiment with this. Try to find the questions which you are most comfortable with. Key when I say comfortable, I mean like if you are very good at quadratic equations and if I spend 2 minutes, I can solve this. So better get those 3 marks, something like that.
okay, but the thing you said that glance through all of the questions, I do that glancing through all of the questions in the first 2 3 minutes. Then I pick out like 10 to 12 questions which I think would be attemptable or which I think would be
Swastik, your
easy.
audio is
So
not audible. Can
in
you
four
bring the
minutes,
mic closer if possible?
hello, am I audible?
It's quite low, Swastik.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
go
on.
ahead, go ahead. Yeah, that also
Sure,
works.
sure. So Yash, what was your score during this last 50 days in mocks?
Okay, so yeah, to be honest, it's not fair to sort of, I mean, compare here because, as I told you, I kept giving mocks for 3 years while I was working, right? So I would not give a lot of mocks because I knew कि ठीक है मतलब concepts I'm okay with. So I only gave, I think, 4 or 5 mocks of IMS this attempt because of my history. I'm not saying 5 mocks are enough, but like
Hmm.
overall, if you see my entire journey, I've given like 50 plus mocks.
Yeah.
So at a point, you stop, like, giving more mocks does not make sense because the changes are so low, like your score doesn't improve or it doesn't decline. Maybe by 3, 4, 5 marks, it changes. And it becomes frustrating because you're spending like 3 hours, then spending 2 hours analyzing it, 5 hours, and the changes are very less. And that is also subjective because हो सकता है the mock you gave was easy.
But right now,
But
what
yeah,
I am personally seeing in the IMS mock series, so
mm,
same student getting a 92 is getting 36 in next, or a same student getting 60 is getting 11 or 12. So there is a drastic shift in the difficulty pattern because of the 2023 exam. So
okay,
so last 2023 exam, if you see quants set, if you see the quant side of,
was very tough.
very
Yeah, I
tough.
saw
It
that.
was, I just solved 5 question and my percentile was 95. आज तक नहीं हुआ
No,
ऐसा
no, that's
कैट
what.
में.
It was difficult. Yeah, even I saw that paper. It was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. So people are anticipating कि the number of aspirants are increasing, so they will increase the difficulty of VRC, DLR and quants. So they are just keeping on increasing the difficulty on every mock. अब ये
Fair,
पता
but
नहीं
yeah,
कितना सही है कितना गलत है because many of, like if you see the community that I am part of, many people are demotivated because माइनस आ रहा है, कभी एकदम से वो अच्छा कर रहे हैं फिर एकदम से माइनस पहुंच जा रहे हैं. So it's
fair.
demotivating them a lot. But I just suggest them to take another mock series अगर वो समझ में नहीं आ रही है तो, just to push up your confidence. And mock नहीं हो रहा तो just do the PYQs. It will give some confidence boost कि भाई PYQ तो मुझसे हो पा रहे हैं. Maybe the mock is too tough.
Right. Yeah, see, in that case, you can always start with easier mocks. Like I believe IMS, CL are the one of the toughest mocks out there. So, अगर वहाँ पे confidence build नहीं हो रहा है, so you could start with a comparatively easier mock, like a practice mock or something. Get a good score there. That will just because confidence drives
A lot.
a lot. Because पता है, like last year, I think at the start of the call I was telling you that story, right?
Hmm.
VARC I messed up. That time I got horrible scores in DI. But I mean, this year when I gave it, I didn't change much, but my scores were drastically different. So I think Swastik asked a question on chat. Yeah, Swastik. So in that case, what I would suggest is, I know this requires conscious effort, okay, but at this stage, you can spend some time. Try to find which topics you're struggling with the most, okay? Because, and like I said before on the call as well, that I struggled with PNC, but I didn't know that because the questions are usually a little bit like when you're giving the exam, you don't do that analysis in your head that okay, maybe this type of questions I'm struggling with. So try to identify some pattern on which questions you're usually often getting stuck, and then maybe if you find out a topic, if you find like narrow it down to 3 or 4 topics, maybe you can focus on these topics over the next few days, maybe improve your comprehension of those, and then try again. See if that works. See, at this point, you do have some leeway to experiment. So you can try strategies here and there. In the last month, I would suggest not to change strategies, but now you can experiment here and there.
And so Atsik, adding to that, see, this is my personal strategy. What I do is I take a question, I just solve it for 2 minutes. If I'm able to solve it, then I will just mark the answer and move on. But अगर 2 मिनट से ज़्यादा टाइम लग गया है, I will skip that question, leave some space and do the next question. एंड इसके साथ साथ मेरी फिल्टरिंग चल रही है. आई एम स्किपिंग क्वेश्चंस जिसमें मैं कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ, खाली वही क्वेश्चन को अटैक कर रहा हूँ. और अटैक करने के बाद भी 2 मिनट से ज़्यादा लग रहा है, आई विल स्किप दैट, लीव सम स्पेस, डू द रेस्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चन, देन मार्क दिस क्वेश्चन फॉर रिव्यू, देन आई विल कम बैक एंड वो जो बची हुई स्पेस मैंने छोड़ी ना वहाँ पे सॉल्व करता हूँ. कितनी बार ऐसा होता है मैं वापस आता हूँ, फट से मेरे को क्लिक होता है, वो ये तो ऐसे होना था. सो कभी कभी वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि मैंने देखा है दे आर 6 क्वेश्चन तो मिनिमम ऐसे होते हैं जो 2 मिनट में सॉल्व हो ही जाते हैं. No matter the difficulty, there are always 6 questions which you can easily identify. आई होप मेरे बैकग्राउंड से आवाज नहीं आ रही हो यार.
No, I don't think so.
नहीं आ रही ना, ठीक है. Nvidia is doing good job.
What all documents are required at the time of interview if you show work experience?
Just give me 1 second. Let me pull my interview letter. I think I sent a screenshot on the group. I think someone asked it, but let me just quickly pull it.
एंड हर कॉलेज का अलग होता है तो वो थोड़ा
हाँ,
रखना.
fair.
See, I created a list from my end also कि सिंपल है, you should have your joining letter. मतलब ये तो ऑफिस से लेना है यार, मतलब तुम किसी भी कॉलेज के लिए जा रहे हो. There was joining letter, your last 3 months का salary slip और salary certificate, your relieving letter if you are resigning. If you are not resigning, then you need your work experience letter. These 4
Right.
are more
So,
than enough.
yeah, just to add on to him, I'll show what all documents I needed. One was the offer letter. Second is the first couple, like keep 3 months of salary slip, keep your recent 3 months of salary slip to prove the duration of your work ex. Most of the companies usually have a experience letter which you can self-download. So have an experience letter which clearly states that this person has been working for XYZ time. And I'm assuming like if you are on a notice period and if you're sure about MBA, then yes. Because in my case, I was not sure. So I was given 6 months time to produce relieving letter and experience letter. So at the time of interviews, you don't necessarily need to have these two, but other documents you need to validate like, the company where you have worked and the duration you have worked for.
But I guess if you have shifted the company, then you need a relieving letter of that company, right?
Oh, the previous company that, yeah, that
Yeah.
you will have, right?
क्योंकि
And
my manager is struggling with last. So she is doing PGPX. So she needs relieving letter of all those previous companies. So
correct, correct.
इसलिए many people don't take seriously कि relieving letter ही तो क्या फर्क पड़ेगा. But ले लेना अगर किसी का 2 या 3 साल का work experience है. If you have changed your job in between, so contact your last employer for the same. Around this time, how much did you score? He already answered that.
What happened?
So Swastik is asking around this time, how much did Yash score in his mocks as per the section on average?
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember. So that is one reason why I can't like answer this. Second is, yeah, so at my first CAT attempt when I was in final year back in 2020. And then my latest attempt was now after gaining some work ex. So in between, I kept giving mocks. So I don't have an exact track of score. But yeah, I mean, you can always check like, so see, if you have a dream college or if you have like a list of colleges you want to go to, I'm sure they have like those cutoffs on their website. So see, convert it and see if your score is somewhere closer to that.
And also Swastik, to be honest, मैं अपना example देता हूँ. If you go to my LinkedIn, I have scored 99.8 in my mocks. And on the last day of exam, I just scored 83. So mock scores are not stone, ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, पत्थर की लकीर. You will get the same result on the final day. A guy scoring 18 mock can get a 99 and a guy scoring 99 can get a 80. So it's on your D-day. So mock should be just your strategy building के लिए use करो rather than focusing on scores. क्योंकि उस पर भरोसा नहीं कर सकते. मेरा तो उड़ गया है मतलब. But हाँ. Okay guys, किसी और का कुछ सवाल है तो शशांक, पंकज, CRF, FRF, CRF. क्या खतरनाक नाम है. You guys can also ask question यार. Yeah, score dip तो सभी का हो रहा है मेरे ख्याल से, I guess. Even I also got multiple dips by the dip. एक second. I'm getting a call. Sell कर. किसी के
I
पास
think
और कोई
Abhishek,
क्वेश्चन नहीं है?
how we can end it early also, and I mean we can always
हाँ,
continue this over group.
yeah, it's okay, स्वास्तिक. Guys, should we end? अगर कुछ क्वेश्चन है तो I guess we can end the stream वो बोल रहा हूँ. Meet right now. फिर कभी और कर लेंगे. I guess यार खत्म करते हैं. आज के लिए इतना काफी है.
Yeah, that works. If any of you have any like specific questions regarding sector or something, I can always ask my friends here. Like I'm sure they'll be more than happy to like spend some time.
आए वो मेरे को मास मीडिया वाला यार तुमने करवाया नहीं अभी तक.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
हाँ,
I'll do that
कोई
tomorrow.
नहीं. या
ठीक है.
आ,
बोलना भाई. हेलो.
आया नहीं तू?
अरे मैं गरबा खेलने आ गया था यार.
अरे अरे
मैं बोला बाद में तेरा लाइव स्ट्रीम